Hey folks, in today's short video blog, I'm going to share with you some simple practical strategies in terms of how do you deal with your negative feelings. You know, those feelings that you don't like, those dark emotions, those feelings that lurk inside that you try to push away, that make you not feel great: anger, fear, sadness, shame, hurt, guilt, pain, hatred, those negative feelings. So how do you deal with those negative feelings? I'm going to cover this in today's video blog. In our culture today, we're actually kind of conditioned to not deal with our feelings, to not deal with our negative feelings. But the degree to which you suppress your pain, your negative feelings, is also the degree to which you limit your capacity to expand and experience the positive feelings. The degree to which you limit your sadness is the degree to which you will also limit your joy. The degree to which you suppress your pain is the degree to which you will limit and inhibit your capacity to experience aliveness. The degree to which you suppress your negative feelings, denying them, resisting them, will actually limit your ability to be a fully alive and joyous human being. In our culture doesn't teach us how to feel our feelings. So typically what you turn on the television, right? And what do we see? Oh, you feel sad, you feel unhappy, you feel depressed. Just take this pill. Just do this thing. Just buy this object. Just, take this vacation. We are taught in our culture systematically to deny, to disconnect, and to avoid how we really feel. To medicate how we really feel. But what we have to realize is that all feelings that are unfelt simply remain present. Just because you disconnect from that negative feeling, or deny that negative feeling, or don't feel that negative feeling, it actually does not go anywhere. It remains lodged in the depths of your own consciousness, and we start developing layers upon layers upon layers. It remains lodged inside of you, often entering the energy of that energy that's suppressed, entering your body. Many times over years it might take to manifest even in your psyche as some sort of, you could say, mental illness called maybe depression. Depression to me is just a signal that perhaps it's things you've been pressing down within yourself. Or that negative feeling that you've been suppressing might manifest as an illness, some physical symptom that is not dealt with but now manifesting through your body. So consider this. There is nothing to be afraid of when it comes to negative feelings. What if you were to actually take the label off of all feelings as good or bad? What if there were actually no bad feelings? See it this way. Feelings are just energy. And all the feelings that you feel, especially the negative feelings, simply are a signal to you that a part of you is needing your attention, that a part of you is not dealt with, that a part of you is needing your love and your compassion. What we often do is we deny it. Imagine the fire alarm was going off in your house, and in the middle of the night, and rather than checking it out and making sure everything was okay, maybe your stove is on, or maybe there's some incense burning, you put your iPods on and you turn up the volume to your music, and you just avoided the fire alarm. That's not going to help, right? Maybe there is a fire and your house ends up burning down. And that's what we often do with ourselves. We deny the signal of our emotions, of our negative feelings, and before you know it, that feeling grows and grows and grows, and our entire house ends up burning down. So we have to take the label off. There are no bad feelings. There's just signals. So your feelings are signals. Start to make feelings your friend, and start to then pay it. If feelings are signals that are giving you information, they're just giving you information about something that is needing your attention that you perhaps haven't paid attention to up until now. Rather than avoiding it, rather than running away, investigate, pay attention, be courageous, right? Many times we think that one of the reasons we're afraid of feeling our feelings, of dealing with our feelings. We're afraid. As children, we learn often unconsciously all sorts of mechanisms and strategies to deal with our parents, to deal with the divorce, to deal with the hurt, to deal with the pain, to deal with the craziness of our environment, to deal with an alcoholic, parent, to deal with sexual abuse, trauma, whatever it was, feeling abandoned, feeling neglected. We learned all sorts of strategies to deal with that. And so often unconsciously we learn to shut down parts of ourselves just to survive, manage, and cope. And those survival strategies often worked for us when we were 5 years old, but they end up limiting our capacity to receive love, to be intimate, to be open in our current state as adults. So we learn all these survival strategies to disconnect from negative feelings that were simply survival mechanisms, the challenges. You and I, we've taken those survival mechanisms, most of us, and we're living those survival mechanisms often unconsciously in our adulthood, and they are now getting in the way. They are now limiting your ability to feel joy and alive. And we wonder why. Because if we have learned to, suppress so much stuff from childhood, we suppress our pain, we suppress our hurt, because maybe it wasn't safe to express, hey, this is how I feel, because maybe when you cried or you expressed how you felt, you were hit, you were abused, you were talked down to. Boys don't cry. Girls aren't supposed to feel that way, so we learn to suppress. And before you know it, layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer starts building up inside of ourselves. And we were these bright, magnificent, joyous beings, and then, our true light ends up hidden inside of layers of unfelt, negative, toxic emotions and energy that have just been built up over years, over decades. It's no wonder why, as adults in our 20s, in our 30s, in our 40s, in our 50s, in our 60s, many times we are carrying so much toxic, unresolved, incomplete, old energies that turn negative because we didn't know how to deal with those in the beginning. So we must first be willing to acknowledge. One of the reasons we are afraid to acknowledge those feelings is because we're afraid that if we open that genie, what will happen? If we open that bottle, we're often afraid that our whole house is going to collapse. We're often afraid that we won't be able to deal with these feelings. We're often afraid that these feelings will never end and we're going to be consumed. We're often afraid that, oh my God, if I feel this emotion and feeling, how am I going to survive? I'm going to die. And so we deny. What do? We drink it away, we shop it away, we sex it away, we eat it away, we numb it away, we distract ourselves, we social media it away, but it is not going anywhere. Your feelings don't go anywhere. Feelings, in order to heal, you must be willing to feel. And so we must cultivate a new relationship with our feelings. Feelings aren't good or bad, they're just energy and they're just signals of information. All feelings remain present until fully felt. When you are willing to face your feelings and hold yourself compassionately, when you're willing to feel your feelings completely, recognizing you are not your feelings, when you're willing to feel your feelings with total awareness, when you're willing to feel your feelings and be totally present with them without judgment, without wallowing or being a victim, or without judgment, but just to experience your experience and experience your feeling as you're feeling them in the moment. When you're willing to feel your feeling, the energy of your sadness or your grief, you'll realize that as whatever you feel fully, with awareness and without judgment, will dissolve. It doesn't last forever. Your feelings are not permanent. Your feelings are simply temporary. And so as you start to hold your feelings, the energy of your feelings, and start paying attention to that part of yourself, as you start paying, because feelings are a signal, as you start paying attention to that part of yourself and giving yourself permission to feel the sadness, you start realizing that yes, emotions may come up, tears might come up, but at a deeper level, even though it doesn't feel great on one level because you're feeling some of the stuff that perhaps you've learned to suppress that is covering up your light and joy, as you feel that feeling with awareness and without judgment, it dissolves, and another layer is peeled, and another layer is peeled, and another layer is peeled, and another layer is peeled. No feelings last forever. When you feel them fully, with awareness, they will dissolve. And so likely, if you're still carrying unresolved negative emotions and energy, either two things. Number one, you haven't allowed yourself to feel those feelings fully, and there's still layers. Sometimes, if someone dies or you go through a breakup, it may not feel great. Right? And you might feel layers of sadness. And sometimes people think, well, I felt the sadness a week ago. I should be over it already. Feelings have layers. Grief may come in waves. Feel one wave, feel another wave, feel another wave. The quickest way often through, let's say something like a breakup, is not to deny it, distract yourself, but to be present with how you feel and experience it. Go through it. That is actually the quickest way to let go of the negativity or the pain. The second thing is, if you've been feeling, but you feel stuck in what you're feeling, like I can't move through this feeling, the other piece of input and coaching and guidance I have for you is to ask yourself this: what is the payoff that you have for staying stuck? Sometimes you don't let go because there's a part of you that has a payoff in not letting go. Maybe you want to be right. Maybe you're afraid if you let go, you won't have anyone else to blame, because sometimes by holding on to the anger, by holding on to the resentment, you get to be right, or you get to blame that person for how your life isn't working out. And we're sometimes afraid, if I really let go, if I really forgive, then there's no one else to blame. So ask yourself, if you're stuck, what is the payoff I have for holding on to this negativity, for holding on to this negative feeling, this negative emotion, this negative energy? Folks, be willing to be courageous, to feel your feelings fully. All feelings fully felt will dissolve. Your feelings are your friend. They're giving you feedback. Pay attention and set yourself free. The degree to which you feel your feelings with awareness and holding yourself compassionately is the degree to which you will feel alive. How alive do you want to be? Folks, I hope you enjoyed this short video. Please definitely share this with your friends. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram and Facebook, all of that good stuff.